So one of our previous series, which was about running ChatGPT on ESP32, was super successful and you all people loved it totally. Of course, that was a very unique concept of like running ChatGPT on the tiny microcontroller boards like the ESP32, of course with the help of the APIs. And in that series, we used the model GPT-3.5 Turbo, and that model is only capable of taking text-based question for generating the answers. But now we do have a couple of more models like GPT-4o, which is way more powerful, and here we can provide any of the images that we want, and later we can ask any questions about that image and it will provide the answer after analyzing the image and the question we ask. That's really cool, right? But now what if I say we can do exact same thing like analyzing the image and asking question based on it using our own ESP32 board? Sounds crazy and exciting at the same time, right? But yes, that's the agenda of the video, and we'll be starting from very scratch, like creating the account in OpenAI and later getting the API key required for it. After getting them all, we'll be testing it in the Postman application, and finally after testing out everything, we'll be writing an Arduino sketch for it, and we'll do all the testing in the ESP32 development board by providing several different images. So now without wasting any more time, let's head on to our computer and start creating the account in OpenAI. So first of all, we need to go to platform.openai.com and later here click on the login button. Now here I'll sign in with my own Google account, and now we are successfully logged into our account. Now the first step is, let's just go to your profile, and here inside the usage section, as you can see, currently I have purchased the $5 limit. Okay, $5 I paid to OpenAI. It's just because if I let you see the usage tiers, then first of all we get the free tier option, which we have used previously, and they give the $5 credit to all the new account and new users. But in our case we cannot use it. It's just because the GPT-4o model is not supported in the free tier version. For that we need to have at least tier 1, and for going to tier 1 we need to pay $5 to our OpenAI account. Okay, so that's the reason you need to pay $5 to use the GPT-4o model for analyzing the images and asking question based on it. But I think $5 is also enough. As you can see, I recharged on December 1, 2024, and the expiry is January 1, 2026, because I get a lot of time period. And as you can see, I have only used $0.22 out of $5, and this $0.22 were utilized after requesting, let me see how many API keys API I requested. After requesting 136 APIs, $0.22 were utilized. So you can imagine like the $5 will be really more than enough if you want to use it as a project purpose to showcase to any of the faculty, any of your team member. It's like more than enough for you. Okay, so yeah, first thing, make the account. Second thing, you need to increase the limit and pay $5 to this account. So that's the second step. And third step is we need to create the API key. For that you can click on the API keys and later click on create new secret key. Let's just give this secret key a name. I'll name it as demo video. Okay, and select the project as the default project and click on create secret key. So here's the API key for my project, for my account. So I'll copy it and I'll save it somewhere because I won't be able to get this key back. Okay, so click on the done button, and with this we are done with all the steps required to be done inside the OpenAI account. And now let's move on to the Postman application and test out the API. Okay, so here is my Postman application, and now for those who don't know what Postman app actually is, then if I tell you in short, it is a tool where you can test out your APIs. You can provide all the parameters like body, headers, authorization key, anything, and later you can also get to see the response in the same platform itself. Okay, so let's just try with our own GPT-4o based API. So first of all, it will be a post request method. So I'll say like post here. Later we need to provide the URL, and for this the URL is this. Okay, so here I'm taking the reference from the documentation page provided by OpenAI itself. So this is the URL. Later we need to provide couple of headers. So I'll go to the header section, and here the first header which I will create is content type, and it will be application/JSON. Later we need to create authorization, and here first of all we need to type as bearer. okay, space, here we need to provide the API key that we have just created. Okay, so I provide the API. So these two headers we need to add. Later we can go inside the body section, and here inside the body, first of all we'll click on the raw button and we will provide these much line of text here inside the body, which again I took the reference from the documentation page. Now if I let you know what this body contains, then first of all it contains which model we'll be using of OpenAI. So we are using the GPT-4o. Okay, later here we need to provide what kind of question we're gonna ask. So it will be a text based question like what's in the image. This is the question. We can modify this question as well. Later what type of media we will be uploading, then it will be an image URL. Okay, so there will be a URL of one image which is available on internet that will be providing. So image type is image underscore URL, and later we need to provide the URL of the image. So if I copy it and if I let you see what this image all about, then let us press enter. Okay, so this is the image. Now again, this image was provided in the documentation page only, so I'm using this image for the test purpose. So this is the complete image, and the URL is already provided here in the body section. Later we have provided the maximum token to be utilized is 300. Again, you can change this token according to your usage. Now tokens in short will be directly proportional to the number of words we are getting in the response. Okay, after analyzing the image, the response that we are getting will be depending on the tokens. More the number of tokens you utilize, the longer answer you will get. Less the number of token you utilize, the shorter answer you will get. Okay, that's pretty much it. That was all about the body, and with this we are also done with all the important parameters which are required for requesting this API URL. Okay, everything is perfectly fine. Now let's just click on the send button and let's see if this is a successful request or not. Okay, so we got the response, and the first thing is it is 200. Okay, that means the URL was successfully requested, and this was the response we got from the server side. And the main thing to focus here is content. Okay, so content contains the actual text based response that is given from the GPT-4o model after analyzing the image and the question we asked. So we already know this was the image about a green grass and a footway in between. So let's see what response it generated. So the image shows a wooden broad walk path through a lush green meadow. The sky is mostly clear. Okay, also take into consideration about the sky. Mostly clear with some scattered clouds creating a serene and peaceful landscape. Perfect. So that was the answer generated after analyzing the image based upon the question we asked. So if we change the question like tell me the time of the day this image was clicked. Let us see if it is able to estimate at what time this image was clicked or not. The image seems to have been clicked during daytime, possibly late afternoon. The angle quality of the sunlight shadow suggests it might be around late afternoon when the sun has warm, soft glow. Wonderful. So we can modify the question and it will generate the answer based on that question and the image. Fantastic. I really loved playing with it. So that's how you can use these APIs to get the answer from any image that you want. We'll definitely try to experiment with several other images, but in our final testing using the ESP32 board. So now let's head on to Arduino IDE and let me show you the sketch we need to have for requesting this kind of URL. Okay, so here is the code that we have written for analyzing the images using an ESP32 developer board. First of all, let me tell you, I have tested this code in Arduino IDE version 2.3.2. If I let you see the board's package version of ESP32, then I have tested it in 3.0.0. And here we have used one external library called as Arduino JSON, whose version is, first of all, you can download the library and install it by going into the library manager. You need to install this library, and I have tested it in 7.1.0 version. Okay, other two libraries are the built-in libraries, so no need to worry about them. After that, here you need to provide the SID name and password of your Wi-Fi router, because this will definitely require internet connectivity. After that, you need to provide the API key of your OpenAI account, and later here is the endpoint, which is nothing but the URL, which you do not need to change. You need to keep it as it is for this project. Later, in the setup part, we are first of all communicating with the Wi-Fi and getting the local IP address printed, and later it will print enter image URL for analysis, and it will wait for the user response. So in the serial monitor, we need to provide the image URL. Once we get the URL, it will first of all trim it out. Trimming means it will, remove the white spaces and all the special character like /n/r, everything from the URL, and it will store it in the same variable. After that, it will be awaiting for the next question, which is the question to ask. So first we need to provide the image URL, press enter, later we need to provide the question to be asked for that particular image. After we ask the question, it will check the image URL length and the question length. If both are greater than 0, means we have provided some data. It will start analyzing the image URL and the question. Then this function image query, which is a user defined function, it will be called, and we provided all the important parameters like the model, the question to be asked, the image URL to be provided, and the token to be utilized, the maximum token to be utilized. Okay, so let's just check what's inside this function. So here is the function, and here first of all we are preparing the body of that API call in the same way that we have provided here inside the Postman application. So after creating the body according to all the parameters that we have provided, we are calling the send request function, in which we are creating HTTP client and making the post request of the URL of the body and of the headers that are provided here. Once we make the request, if the response was 200 OK, means that if the response is successful, we are using the Arduino JSON library and we are deserializing the data, because here as you can see we are only interested in the key value pair content from the whole JSON document. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. We are deserializing the JSON and we are fetching out the data stored in the key value pair content. Once we fetch it out, we are storing it in the result variable, and then we are ending the HTTP request. Okay, and finally we are printing that result variable into our serial monitor, so we'll be able to see the response straight into the serial monitor. So provide the image URL, provide the question, and wait for the response. So that was a basic code that we have written. You can definitely modify this code, like you can modify the number of tokens. You can modify the model in future. If there are different models available, you can try out them. So this is like you can modify it according to your application. I'll be providing this code into my GitHub account, whose link will be in the description. Okay, so in my case the ESP32 board is already connected, so I have selected the do it dev kit v1 board and selected the right COM port here, and now let's just hit the upload button. Okay, so the code is successfully uploaded. Let's just open the serial monitor. Let me just reset this board. Okay, it says connected to Wi-Fi. Here is the local IP address, and now it says enter image URL for analysis. So now comes the very interesting part of the video. So now what I'll do, I'll try to provide several different kind of images, okay, from internet, and I'll be asking some interesting question, and let's see how this AI reacts, how this AI responds based on your question and our images. Okay, so let's start. So first image I'll be providing is the logo of OpenAI. So let's just see. I'll paste the URL here, press enter. Now says image URL received. Now enter the question to be asked. So I'll ask, what is this image about? Question mark, press enter. Analyzing the provided images, URL, and the question. The image is the logo of OpenAI, well, perfectly recognized. The organization known for developing AI technologies, including conversational AI models, the one which we are using. Perfect. Let's go on to the next image, which is our own logo. Let's just see, is it able to recognize all the logos? What is this image about? Let's see. The image appears to be a logo featuring a stylish blue microchip with the letter T in the center. The logo is likely associated with a tech-related brand or product, but it is not able to recognize the brand name. Anyways, let's just clear these responses and move on to the next image, which is a landscape. So let's just try to ask if this AI is able to recognize the place. So I'll provide the URL and I will type the question as, which place is this? Let's see. Hopefully it will be able to recognize with the help of the Burj Khalifa, I guess. Great. This is a view of Dubai, perfectly recognized. UAE. The tall building in the center is the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. Let's try to ask, provide the same image, and let's just ask how many floors are there in the tallest building shown in the image. Let's see how many floors are there in the tallest building shown in the image. The tallest building in the image is the Burj Khalifa. It has 163 floors. So you can definitely ask detailed question on that image and it will perfectly recognize. Now let's move on to the next one, which is a little difficult. So I'll copy the image. Let's clear all the response here and type the URL. And now I'll ask the question about which car is this and what is the number. Okay, because the name of the car is not visible, only the logo is visible and the car number is visible. So let's just see what response we are getting. The car is the Honda City ZX. Perfectly perfectly recognize. It is just written TY here, ZX is written, and probably with the help of the Honda logo it was able to recognize, and the number of the license plate is HR26TQ5551. Perfect. Okay, and let's just ask a detailed question. Let's just type the image URL, press enter. Where is this car from? Let's just see if it is able to analyze that number plate and recognize the location of that car, like basically where it belongs to. The car is from India. The license plate prefix HR indicate it is registered in the state of Haryana. Very smart. Like making the number plate recognition based projects are super simple with the help of this simple code. No need of machine learning algorithm, no need of heavy programming, nothing. Simple API calls and your project is done. Perfect. Let's move on to the next image. Now this is an interesting image, so let's just copy the URL. I'll paste it here. And let's try to ask the question like, what do you see in the image? What do you see in the image? Let's just see first of all. I'm interested in the text written inside the blackboard. Okay, connection error. Let's just try to reset the board, provide the image URL again. Let's ask the question. So I was saying I was more interested in the text and the graphics written onto the board, if it is able to recognize that or not, because it is written in the Hindi language. Okay, so we got the answer. The image shows 3 students in red and navy uniform inside a classroom. Perfect. One of the student is standing holding a phone in the hand. Okay, perfect. While the other 2 are seated, one holding a notebook. Other 2 are seated, one with a notebook. Wow. Behind them is a green chalkboard with the drawings, including the flag on the pole and some text in Hindi. Perfect. There is a schedule of subjects listed on the board as well. Where it is? Oh, here it is. All the subjects. Perfect. The setting suggests they might be engaged in a classroom activity or a discussion. Perfect. Let's just try to ask the question like, what is written on the board? Let's try to ask specifically about the board. The board has various writings in Hindi and English. It includes the subject schedule for the day, such as Hindi, social, math, NC, drawing of a tree, P unclear, okay, English, perfect, and continues with more because it is not perfectly visible. There is a drawing of Indian flag. Oh wow, it is able to recognize this is a flag of India without the colors, of course with the help of the Ashoka Chakra in between, I guess. And the Indian flag with the text Mera Bharat Mahan. Wonderful, Mera Bharat Mahan. It is able to recognize the Hindi text as well and translated it into English like Mera Bharat Mahan, which means my India is great. Okay, transcription is also there, translation is also there. Additionally, it shows some class details like grade 6A. Oh, very small, but yeah, it recognized. And the student attendance number on the right side. Okay, let's just try to zoom it. It is not visible. Yes, the student attendance is also mentioned. Let's just try to ask in detail, what is the attendance of the class? I'm finding it pretty interesting, so I'm asking the more detailed questions. Okay, we got the response. The attendance in the class is 23 students present out of 25 students. It is hard to read with a human eye, but it recognized perfectly fine, I guess. Okay, wonderful. I'm totally impressed with the response of this particular image because there are a lot of details in multiple language with the graphics. It recognized it completely correct with all the details. Let's move on to the next image. So this is an AI generated image. So it is like very difficult to explain being a human like what this image is all about. So I'm curious like how AI will explain us this image. So I'll provide the URL. Let's ask the question like, explain what is this image about. The image appears to be a surreal or digitally manipulated depiction. Perfect. It features a hand with elongated multiple fingers holding or forming a circular shape around a spiral shell-like object. Okay, that it feels like a shell. Perfect. The image blends realism with fantasy elements. True, realism with the fantasy elements, creating a visually intriguing and unusual composition. Such art often explores theme of transformation or blending of human natural forms. Okay, so it tried to explain it in very detailed manner. There's a blend of realism with the fantasy elements, like the hand feels real and this is kind of a fantasy. Perfect, it was able to explain in a very detailed manner. Moving on to the next one, which is image of a famous personality. So we all can recognize that he is Elon Musk, but let us see if AI is allowed to tell the name of the person by looking at the face or not, because it will be really scary if it does that. Let's just press enter and ask the question, who is he? If AI is able to get the data of all the people on the social media, on the internet, and if he is able to tell the name and everything of it, okay, as you can see, it is not, sorry, I cannot tell who this person is. It doesn't mean that AI is not able to get the name of the person or internet. It is like openly available, but yes, there are some rules and restrictions. It is not able to tell the name of the person exactly, but if I ask the details about it, then it will probably be able to answer. What is this image about? Image shows a person wearing tuxedo and smiling at the event. Appears to be a formal occasion, possibly an award ceremony, given the background and attire. Okay, so it was able to analyze the image and let us know the complete details of it, but not the name of the person. It's kind of good as well that it is not able to, reveal all the personal details. Moving on to the next and the last one, which I think will be very, very interesting. Okay, so this is the photo of a watch. So Ambani's son is wearing the luxury watch, and I'm curious to know the price and the name of the watch. So I'll provide the image and I'll ask the question, which watch is this and what's the estimated price in India? Let us see if AI is able to analyze this. Even I don't know which brand is this, but let's see. Okay, there was some connection issue. Let's just reset it. Okay, so we got the response. The watch in the image is Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711. Even I'm not sure about this brand and this watch, but if AI told us, it probably will be correct. Let us see the price. It features an emerald set design. Of course, I can see that. The estimated price of this luxury watch can range from $3 million to $5 million, depending on the specific customization in the Indian market. Let's try to ask the price in Indian rupees. Okay, it says it could easily cost several crore Indian rupees. Okay, so it was not able to tell the exact price because it all depends upon the customization, but it is definitely range in crore Indian rupees. So that was the answer given by AI, which is kind of perfect as well, because I also heard this watch is around like 10 crores probably. So anyways, that was the last image of the test, and that's how you can provide any image URL. You can ask any question about that image, and hopefully AI will analyze the image and generate the perfect answer of that image. Isn't that a super interesting project? Like, I found it really fun to try out different images and asking specific questions about it, and the response are always surprising and on to the point. I totally loved it. So yeah, that was our first demo code about using GPT-4o model onto our ESP32 board for analyzing any image that you want. So how was this project according to you? Isn't that a super interesting project? Well, I definitely think so, and it's kind of a must-try project this weekend, so do try it out and share your experience down in the comments of the video. And now if you feel this content was really unique and interesting, well, do click the like button right now and tell YouTube algorithm that this video was really good and worth watching. And now it's the time to discuss what future projects we can make using this particular code. Well, the first ever thought after making this project came in our mind was it would be way more interesting if we can click our own images and provide to the GPT-4o model and can ask questions about that image. It will be really very useful, and there will be a lot of project possibilities open up if we can click our own images and send. Should we try to make that project as well? Well, here I won't say anything more, but one thing I'll definitely say is to subscribe the channel if you don't want to miss any of the upcoming content related to this GPT-4o model. And yeah, that being said, I'm just ending this video here, and now just wait for my next video. Until then, explore, learn, share with me, techiesms.